Hi, I'm Amanda Stevenson, editor of Horse Magazine. Welcome to our free video. Horses never cease to amaze me. Part of the fun and fascination of owning and riding them is that each one is so different. This video reflects our magazine, and I'm sure the features you're about to see will entertain and inspire you.
The harmony and pace of nature is often forgotten in these days of increasing technology, instant gratification, and short attention spans. Horse lovers understand this. Riding is one of the few pastimes where you can observe, feel, and be part of the natural world, where hurrying will get you nowhere fast. Either as a competitive sport or leisure activity, the human relationship with the horse is unique. Jill Thomas, who lives on the end of England in Cornwall, didn't start off with competitive ambitions, but became the European endurance riding champion.
I had a 3-year-old horse that was an absolute nightmare, and I decided to sell her and look around for a pure Arab, and I managed to find Egyptian Khalifa, or Kelly as we call him, and he cost me £200. When I first bought him, I was very interested in jumping and cross-country, but unfortunately the horse and I don't tend to share the same interest. So I had a lesson on him once, which was very embarrassing, with people doing their AI. And they were all in there, and I was very lucky to join the class. And we were going over cavalettis at the lowest height, and unfortunately Khalifa got stuck. So it had to be removed sideways from underneath him. And I then decided that I really would have to find something else for us to do.
So it was almost by default that Jill thought of endurance riding and entered a local competition. Her £200 purchase had found his ideal role, and Jill was hooked.
My training varies from season to season because each horse requires a different degree of training, and it also depends on what competition I'm aiming for. I think I must cover on average per horse when I'm training at a region of 10 to 20 miles a day.
Now a celebrity in endurance riding, Jill has 4 horses to compete with and has to find the time to train them.
I have to fit my training in around my jobs. I have 2 part-time jobs. I'm a care assistant for the social services 3 mornings a week, and I'm an equestrian consultant for WMF Limited 2 days a week. So it gets rather hectic, I'm afraid.
For those who wish to enjoy the countryside at a leisurely pace, riding holidays can be organised with a trek, which ends each day at a human and horse bed and breakfast. Sisters Lee and Tess Fisher spent a week on the bridleways of Wiltshire.
My horse is called Zero. He's 26 years old. He's 3/4 Arab and 1/4 Welsh Mountain. I've done a little bit of everything on him: cross-country, show jumping, dressage, pony club games, even taken him to camp once, and he seems to love everything.
On a planned route through the British countryside, there are lots of farmhouse bed and breakfasts that have stabling. Many of the owners, like Mary Wilson, keep horses themselves and thoroughly enjoy equestrian guests passing through.
Really, the horse bed and breakfast was something we took on because our cousin also does it and introduced me to bridle rides, and we've enjoyed doing that now for 6 or 7 years, and it's great fun, and we meet lots of people. The sort of guests we have here to stay for a night or 2 on their way through on the bridleways are young people who enjoy uncompetitive riding, older people who are probably retired and they bring their friends along, and they're probably sometimes rather old horses which seem to quite enjoy it, and people who are using it as a second holiday that have probably got businesses and just want to get away and relax.
But even if you mix pedal and horsepower, it's still best to travel light.
On this trip, I'm actually riding a mountain bike and following behind Zero and Lee, up in front most of the time. And I have a small pack on my back, I try and take as little as possible, knowing that I'm going to be carrying it the whole time. So there's no fancy dresses and changes of shoes in the evening on this trip. It's been hard work going up the hills, but apart from that, fun time.
Leisure riding is a lot of fun, but for some, once the competitive bug bites, there's no turning back.
I think my ultimate achievement was in 1993, where my horse had received a slight injury and I decided not to do as the selectors required, putting my horse's welfare first. And I went along to the final selection ride and did a 60 instead of the 80 or the 100 miles. And I was only made third reserve for the European Championships. And yeah, I was totally gutted. So when I had my call-up 3 days before the championships, I decided that I would show them exactly what my horse was worth. And we went and we not only won the European Championships individual medal, but we also broke the British and European record by a considerable amount at the same time.
Jill never dreamt that she would become a European champion, but it took a lot of hard work, determination and dedication.
My advice to anybody deciding to have a go at endurance riding is to go and try it, and go with an open mind, because so many people think it's like a hack around the block, and they're actually very surprised when they find that they have to ride at speed. So get out there and try it.
Horse and rider looking very comfortable, very easy here. And I must say, General Jock makes it look easy too. This combination looking very cool, calm, and absolutely collected. This girl has arrived in the very, very top flight.
If you were Tina Gifford, your horses would have to look spotless for competition. But, as is so often the case, behind every star there is a loyal backroom team. Hester Eaton has groomed for Tina since August 1996. Here, she gives tips on a variety of ways to tackle the fiddly business of plaiting a mane.
So we're just threading out the needle, putting a knot in the end of it, just so it won't come through the end of the plait when I thread it through. And it's just joining the others, and I normally have quite a few. Now I've just dampened down the mane again. It just helps to bring all the little whiskers in. And if you've got a really horrible mane, you can use a bit of gel or hairspray to keep it in place. But we've got very nice mane to plait here. So I've just taken a comb's width and just under a comb's width and just brushed it down. And I've got a hair crip and I just pin the rest of it back there. Just comb it down so you're happy with it, so it's nice and smooth. Taking it into 3 equal bunches as much as you possibly can. And you need to get this plait fairly tight, not too tight, but as close to the neck as you possibly can, so that you get a nice plait, a round plait at the end of the day. There you go. It's all the way down. You try and go as far as you can go down. Just it leaves you less to fiddle with at the end. There we go. Now just push it through the end of the plait until it comes to the knot. Just give it a bit of a tug and go around and back through the thread, pulling it tight. And do this several times. Especially if you're going cross country, you want these plaits to stay in, and they have to put up with quite a bit of wear. Now I've got a little bit left over at the end, so I just do another one at the end, It's like a pretend that you've plaited all the way down to the bottom. Now just bring it up, and can you see how close this plait is to the neck? You just bring it up, lift it up, and push the needle through and under, and pulling it tight through the other way. Now just come around, and just get the end of the plait, and you just bring it underneath and roll it up like that. And with this thread, just push it back through underneath the plait, just keeping it tight, and back through. You need to get this as close and underneath this plait as you possibly can, pulling it tight every time. You really only need to do it 2 or 3 times. Keeps it quite secure. And you just get a pair of scissors, just cutting it off, and there you go. You get a plait all the way down. Just sometimes you need to pull it through a little bit so it looks even. And you go on to the next one. Now we're going to try another plait, and instead of going through the plait, we're going around the outside of the plait. So as you can see, I do this twice each side. You usually see this a lot of venting, hunting. It takes a little bit more wear than the other one sometimes. Brings the mane slightly tighter together and pulls it. And if you have a horse with the broken mane, because it's been plaited, it just helps to keep the bits in place. And if you go to foreign, especially in the dressage, in the foreign places, they often put white tape around there in their pure dressage. Just they think it helps to give the top line some muscles, and they think that the judges will take more notice. Now we sort of fold it. We have been rolling it. Now we sort of fold it against itself, and you bring it around itself like that. And again, the other. So actually it has more of an effect of standing up on itself. You get this from any place. You can use just insulating tape, can be done. And you just wrap it around the end of the plait, just to give it that effect there. You really only see those in foreign dressage, pure dressage horses. The English don't seem to like it, but the foreigners seem to love it. The elastic bands, you can put elastic band at the end of the plait, just to keep it in place. Just like that. Does give it a little bit of a bulky in the middle once you've rolled it up. Rolling it up again, putting that closely because you haven't got thread to go through. So bring it down, just bring it around and down. Elastic band in the right place, and then just pulling the elastic band round. But these elastic bands will break, and so if you're going off hunting or doing a show, you might have to have a supply of them.
Roger Lee, Horse Magazine's veterinary advisor, is on the road.
If you give my parents a call, tell them I'll be there in 20 minutes.
The fulfillment of being a vet is that the job is so varied. The horse world provides lots of scope to keep a practice busy every day.
Stud we're going to stands 4 stallions. They stand the HIS stallion for the area, which is a thoroughbred, and then they stand 3 Hanoverian stallions as well. So there's a mixture of mares, some thoroughbred, some warm blood mares. A lot of our work is stud work at this time of year. The thoroughbred studs in Newmarket would be more or less finished by now, but non-thoroughbred breeding season runs well on into June and July. I enjoy the work, it's good fun. It makes a change from treating sick horses, and when you get the mare in foal you've got happy owner and happy stud owner, so it's a nice part of the year.
They say it's harder to become a vet than a doctor because animals can't tell you what's wrong, and it took Roger 6 years to qualify. He has a very busy and demanding life, but still found time to ride his first point-to-point winner earlier in the year.
Oh, well there.
Morning.
Morning. First one in already.
First one in already for you.
Have we got much on this morning?
We've got about 4 to look at, mostly assessment.
Just have a feel first, see what the tone of the uterus is like. Okay, well she's got a good tone on the uterus, so that feels promising. We'll have a look with the scanner. Yep, she's definitely in foal. Now we'll just check that there's only one. Twin pregnancies are a little bit of a problem in mares in that they quite often put up twins, and they're only actually designed to carry one foal to term, so we always need to check pretty carefully that there's only the one pregnancy there. This is the pregnancy here. This is the fluid-filled sac, and in a couple of days' time we'll get the fetus developing at the bottom of it, but at the moment all we've got is this black fluid-filled sac. We can see the single pregnancy there. It looks to be just the one, looks healthy, looks the right size for the number of days. So all looks to be good at the moment. And we'll just end off by getting a picture of this, so that we can say to the owner, your mare's in foal, and give her a picture of it. Good girl. Have a look at Patch next. He's tucking into his fairly meagre breakfast because Patch has had a bad attack of laminitis, which means he had 4 very sore feet, and he's getting slowly better now, but we're going to x-ray his feet again this morning and just see what's happened to his pedal bones. If you look at how he moves now, you can see he's still rocking back on his heels. He's still very sore on his feet and doesn't really want to put them flat on the ground. It's got the typical walk of a laminitic pony. This is going to be the second set of x-rays we take from Patch. He had a first set taken when he came in. You can see that he's got the sort of typical chronic laminitic foot now, in that his heel is growing much faster. So you can see a great depth of heel there, and the sort of rings of the foot are getting wider towards the heel. That's the classic sign of a pony that's had a laminitis attack. The cause of Patch's laminitis was basically too much fresh grass. It's most common in ponies like him, although it can happen in adult horses as well, in pregnant mares. It's good. Steady, Patch. This is our marker here that you can see showing the front of the hoof wall. This is the pedal bone, the last bone in the foot. This is the pastern bone, and this is the navicular bone at the back. And what we're looking for is to see whether this pedal bone has moved within the hoof wall. It should be, in a perfectly normal foot, the horizontal line down the front of the pedal bone should be parallel to the horizontal line of the foot. Now you can see that in patches some rotation has occurred, but that's not too bad, that's not very marked. The other thing to look out for is the top of the marker is level with the top of the hoof, and that should be pretty much level with the top of the pedal bone. The other thing that happens in laminitis is that the pedal bone sinks. It's normally held by the laminae within the hoof wall, and the laminae become inflamed, they die, the support of the pedal bone is lost, and it rotates and sinks. That's obviously very painful to have inflamed tissue and pedal bone on the move, and in the very bad cases the tip of the pedal bone can actually come through the sole. Now we can see in Patch's case that there's still a good thickness of sole away from the pedal bone. Yes, there is some degree of rotation, but it's not that serious. If we go over and have a look at today's shots, we can see that they look pretty much the same. The degree of rotation hasn't increased, which is good news. It shows that we've stabilised the pedal bone and it's not moving anymore. Patch is still pretty painful. He's going to need to stay on a soft, thick bed and painkillers for some time, but with regular foot trimming and care, he should be able to make a full recovery.
We go first,
Well, not bad, but I think we need to work it out on paper. What do you reckon?
It's much easier without horses. You can work out a dressage routine before you get anywhere near your four-legged friends. Vicky Toogood and her team have got together to plan their challenge for the National Riding Club Quadrille Championships.
Well, as you saw outside, it didn't go quite as well as we'd liked. So we've come in, we've decided to work it all out on paper. So Karen, our choreographer, is going to go through things with us with lots of ideas. We're just literally writing it down so that one of us can go away and ride through the test.
Well, I guess my role is really to sort of try and put the music to the movements, work out the movements, and whether the movements will work to the music and vice versa, really.
I think it's very important to have somebody eyes from the ground as well, because what feels good might not look good, and what looks good often doesn't feel right at all.
No.
A part of the quadrille, big part of the quadrille, is that it's all done in costume, and we are choosing teddy bears as our theme because our horses are quite small and cuddly compared to a lot of the other teams who'd be riding much bigger horses. So teddy bears it is. Well, I think actually Charlotte should go out and try costume on in a moment. I think she's quite keen actually.
I think you're right. Yeah, so I think so then we'll come across not as a fool.
No, you've got to just give us a twirl first. Come on. I mean, since the other day, there's been a lot of organising, a lot of phone calls and things, backwards and forwards, to try to get everybody together here today to run through with our trainer Liz, who teaches dressage. I'm usually the pacemaker on Mushroom because he's got a very good rhythm in his trot. And then Charlotte rides Rosie, Jane rides Honey, and Sally rides Sundance Kid, who's actually 27 years old. He acts like he's about 2 years old most of the time. And then we're going to run through in our costumes. The bear outfits are going to come out, and we'll see how that goes for real.
Good. Yeah, just remember in your loops, you must come through straight in the middle. Yeah. Inside horse establishes the size of your loop, so everybody just stay in line with that inside horse. Well, the good thing about being in a quadrille is you don't have to have the best horse in the world, you don't have to be the best rider in the world. You can just go along with your own horse and join in the fun and work as a team. Some of the problems that occur riding quadrilles our riders get too involved in their own horses and the way their own horses go, rather than watching each other. Because the most important thing is that they keep an eye on each other, they stay in form, they stay in line, and they remember where they're going. And then it all becomes a nice picture, and they have a lot more fun.
Judy's just doing the finishing touches now to the makeup on Jane, and I'm next, so better get to doing
That's it. Okay, thank you.
Here we're trying to make the horses look pretty, look smart. We've painted their feet and we've put some bows down the horse's mane just to liven things up. On the actual day we will do a bit more, but we like to get the feel of things, and also so that horses get used to us actually doing something.
I love the idea of having a dress rehearsal because it makes it all clear to everybody what the whole production is going to be like on the night. And also, look up to the ceiling with your eyes, right up. And also it gives an idea of whether the makeup is actually going to work, as well as I think it's going to work. And if anybody's unhappy with it, then this is the time we can put it right.
I have a few bows here that I'm just about to put in. They just wrap around the plait with a bit of wire to hold them very securely so that they don't fall off. We've matched the bows to our costumes. Pink for the girls and turquoise for the boys.
The routine's going quite well. The horses are a little bit tense because they've not actually been in this building, so they're looking at things, but I think once they've settled they'll be okay. And the actual movements are working out quite well, what we've written down on paper. We hadn't actually ridden them before, and they're turning out to be quite good.
All right.
Yep.
It's
off to rehearsal
yes,
now.
and enjoy it.
We're aiming for a qualifier at Stoneleigh in October, and 4 teams go through to Olympia, which is in December. So we've got a little bit of time between the qualifier and Olympia, if we do qualify, to brush up on the things that need, a bit more work. But the whole thing is because we enjoy riding together and having fun with our horses.
Subscriptions to Horse Magazine are now available at special rates. To take advantage of this offer, either fill in the coupon in the magazine or call 01622 778 778, quoting code number 20V.